Get the water boiling really well. And for lasagna noodles and for shells and for manigot, I recommend you put in a little, just a touch of oil. They all tend to stick a lot, so it's really the only time that I recommend putting in oil. And 2 tablespoons kosher salt per gallon of water. And that looked like 2 tablespoons, right? Unless you have a massive pot, like 3 times the size of this, work in batches. And when you put your lasagna into the water, 1 noodle at a time, like 1,000, 2 1,000, and then you put the next one in. That's all you have to do. Then just start stirring right away. And let them cook about 4 or 5 minutes. That's for Dececco brand, but they'll all be relatively similar. You don't want them to cook all the way through because we're gonna bake it in the oven for another 30 minutes. Get about 3 more minutes, and once they come out, I'm gonna put them right here on this parchment paper. I'm gonna scoop them out, and I have a little bit of ice water right away. Get it flat, and then put it right on the parchment paper. You do like 2 at a time. Just tend to flatten them out right away so they don't bend. I have 22 sheets right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't have parchment paper, and you just get some towels, clean dish towels, and you can just lay it straight on your counter. You don't need these baking trays at all. This Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. This is 24 months. This is again from Costco. It's a really good deal too. It's $11 a pound there. You go to Whole Foods and you buy 24-month Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, $25 a pound. Don't believe me, check it out. And guess what? It's the same thing because this is the brand. So, and Costco has this everywhere. I recommend you save the rinds. You could put it in pasta bazool, you could put it in ribollita, pasta ceci, anything like that. I'm gonna grate up 1 cup of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. So here's about a half a pound. Maybe it was a little bit more I cut, I'm not sure, but it'll be fine. Okay, take your knife, put it on the garlic like that and just hit, and then the skin will come right off. I ran a slice through it, and I'm just gonna mince it a little bit because this is gonna be our filling and we don't wanna have any big pieces of garlic in there. Alternatively to this, you can just take a couple cloves of garlic. We're using this right now. The next step, we're gonna use it to flavor the spinach. If you wanna just use a couple cloves of garlic and you wanna pull it out, feel free to do that too. Onion, 1 medium onion. I have a little pan here. This is not the biggest pan. I suggest you use a larger pan. I'm just using a smaller pan so you can actually see inside the pan here. All right, I got my heat fairly low, below medium low. And then here's 1 pound of spinach. And just a little bit of olive oil. About 2 tablespoons. Let it sweat for about 2-3 minutes, and then we'll put the garlic in and then get the spinach in. A ton of garlic flavor right here, the onion. You know, some people don't like the onion in this one. They want it just to be like that spinach and cheese and maybe even no garlic. Totally fine to do that too. All right, so I put about half the spinach in. And this is baby spinach. I recommend using baby spinach for this, and for most recipes, baby spinach is better. Get that really soft spinach on top of the stuff that still needs to wilt. All right, so there's a lot of water in there. See how much water? That's okay. You don't have to cook it out or anything. We're just gonna drain this. Let it cool for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes so you can handle it, and then we'll squeeze out the water. So that's all the spinach. That huge container, 1 pound, it goes all the way down to that. which is to be expected. Now there's still a lot of liquid in here. You can chop it first. I don't want to rip the towel I have, but do the best you can. Maybe even use a cloth for this. I'm probably gonna have to switch. The ricotta is right here. This is 1 pound. And put it all in there. Parmesan cheese, grated before. Putting all that in there. It's a whole cup. For this, about 1 pound of spinach, I would put in at least 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're also gonna add egg in here, but we're not gonna add the egg straight in there in case we have a bad egg. Also, by mixing this right now with the salt in it really well, we can taste it and then we can know right before we put the raw egg in there if it needs more salt. Because once you put the raw egg in there, I mean, though you can still eat it. I mean, but you know, you're not supposed to. Okay, we're gonna put 2/3 of it in, leave 1/3 for topping. I'm gonna give this a taste. That's delicious, perfect like that. So I needed about 1 teaspoon extra of salt. We're using 2 eggs. We're using the egg to bind it. That's the only reason you put it in here. That means so the ricotta doesn't just ooze out of the roll-ups. It will still ooze out a little bit, but it just won't ooze out as much. So these eggs are good. They're not bad, meaning we can put them in there. All right, we're gonna make a bechamel. Get your heat very low. It's 6 tablespoons of butter, 8 tablespoons of flour, 4 cups of milk. Do these measurements have to be exact? They really don't. If you use 9 tablespoons of flour, you're gonna be okay. You know, if you use 3 cups of milk, you're gonna be okay. One trick you can do, I'm not gonna do it. You can heat up your milk, get it a little warm before you add it in there. Sometimes that'll help a little bit. Another thing that's great, if you have one, use a non-stick one of these. I don't have one. Okay, I'm gonna add the butter in. I'm turning my heat down even a little bit more. Get a whisk, flour, and I'm just adding a little bit at a time and then whisking it. And if you add a little bit too much, you'll be all right too. Just whisk faster then. Just knock the edges of it. If you got any flour over there, knock it down and just keep whisking. Okay, I'm gonna add my milk in. And it's kind of slowly, and I'm just going to whisk that in too. See, right now, I'm gonna show you. Look at that, that's nothing. So we got some work to do here. We'll let it reduce, and we want like that nice creamy bechamel sauce. It's been going for a while. I'm gonna add in the salt, pepper, and nutmeg, and we'll just taste it. When you use nutmeg, be very careful. It's very, very overpowering. You can ruin a dish very easily. So I just started with a little pinch. Okay, and I'm pretty thick now, so I kind of turned off the heat. And if it wasn't thick enough, you could just keep cooking it for a couple minutes. I'd say total time here was about 10 minutes. I put in the pepper, nutmeg, let's get a little salt. Start with about a teaspoon. It's really good. I'm gonna put in a little bit more nutmeg. I'm gonna put in a little bit more of everything. You wanna get this just right because this is gonna be the base of the roll-ups and we're gonna put it on the top of the roll-ups too. See how that coats like that? All right, that's really good. I'm taking it off and we're gonna start assembling. I have the sauce right here. To prevent it from forming a skin, just keep kind of just whisking it a little bit and you'll be fine. But if it does form a skin, it doesn't matter. We're gonna be done with this quick. Okay, and the exact amount that I'm using is not taking whatever I think will properly fit in there. This is only one baking tray. They're gonna need like probably something that's way larger than this, but I just wanted to show it right here in the black. Take a couple ladles of the bechamel and put it on the bottom of the baking dish. Like that. And then take your roll-ups and seam side down. And you can try to roll them a little tighter than I did. You could probably maybe fit a few more, but anyway, you just use the dish that's gonna fit them all. There's 6 I fit into here. This is a relatively small one. Here's a bigger dish. Probably should have made a little bit more sauce for this, but we'll be all right. Here they are, okay. And we're gonna put the bechamel on top. Yeah, you can put chicken in here too, beef, pork, anything you want. Mozzarella cheese. Now I probably should have a little bit more here, but I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on top. Let these go at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes and then take off the foil and let it cook for maybe 10 more, or you could just broil it. I broiled it right at the end. I feel like that gives it, first of all, it makes it look a lot better, especially in a white dish like this because everything's white. I put the bechamel in the middle so the ends of the lasagna rolls would crisp up. Listen, I know it looks like it was a lot of stuff and everything, but it's really not. You can also make that bechamel in advance and it'll keep in your fridge for 2 days. So you can make it, you can have it on hand, then you can go through this process and all you have to do is just heat it up on the stove and then you put it on and that would speed things up for you also. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.